Today, I want to get a bit nostalgic and share with you my Nintendo collection. So this is the Nintendo. For those of you who don't know, this is what we in the 80s and 90s played video games on. You got your power in the back here. You could run this RF switch to channel 3 or 4, depending on which channel you choose back here. But the real OGs know that you use your audio and video out for the best signal in your CRT TV. Cartridge loading is pretty easy. You just open this. It shouldn't pop off, but mine's broken. Click the game out. And you blow in the cartridge. And then you dry it. And then you pop it in. And you click it down. Now they tell you not to blow into the game. Once I cleaned and replaced my 88-pin cart in there, the games worked mint. But I also had to clean the games. The only game that still, for some reason, won't work if you don't blow it in is the first game I'll mention here in my collection. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. My #1 favorite game ever. Still to this day, I love to just play it all the way through to the boss man, Mike Tyson. I don't always beat him. That takes practice. So I'll just go, I will mention some other things. Like, this is where we used to put our passcodes. You just write it right on the system itself. Eventually, I got a notebook and I started writing the codes down in the notebook. I even got my initials on this. So this is an original one from '86. I believe it was originally my brother, who was born in '75. I'm sure he got it when he was like 10 or something. And then it was passed down to me at some point. There's a little yellowing going on, but it's still original. Everything's original except for that 88-pin part. And the 88 pins align with the game's electronics here. Excuse me. Controllers. You got 2 controller ports. And look at this beauty. 2 buttons, a start and a select, and a pad for direction. Now think about how old this system is. These are original controllers. There's no frailing at the entry point into the controller. The plastic connector pin is in perfect condition. None of the buttons are loose. This thing is built well. The classic Nintendo duck hunt gun. Still works. All right, time to go through some of the favorites. I always keep my favorites of the collection in this little official Nintendo slider holder for my cartridges. Oh, I'm sneezing because I just pulled these out of the dusty spot in my basement. So there's dust all over them, and I'm allergic to dust. But without further ado, here we go. Zelda 1. Amazing. Zelda 2. The Adventures of Link. Amazing game. Amazingly hard, but amazingly fun. Maybe I should rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. Okay, Zelda 1, 10. The Adventure of Link, I'm going to give it a 7. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm going to give it a 6. And the reason I say that, and I'm sure some people can relate, as a kid, I could get through most of the beginning stages. I could even sometimes get lucky and find my way through into a couple of the later stage buildings. But there was always one jump. I don't know what level it is. It was like this long jump that would get me. And it was right before, and I remember as a kid, one time I made the jump and I made it to like night. And I thought that was the coolest, so that I died shortly after. And just the daunting task of getting to that point and trying to make that jump and then being into night. There's no way as a kid, I could have gotten beyond that because at that point I was usually at my last life. Even as an adult, I still can't even get, I can get to it, but that one jump still crushes me. This game I played nonstop. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade port. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Super Mario Brothers, it's a 10. Probably the first game anyone beats also. I remember beating it in that last labyrinth level when you figure out go down, go up, go middle, and then you reach Bowser. Super Mario Brothers 2, also another one of the earlier games I beat. Didn't realize I was beating it because it just kind of ends. You like want more levels after, I don't know what world it is. Super Mario Brothers 2, I'm going to give it a 7. Super Mario Brothers 3, it's an 11. Another challenging game that I really didn't beat until later in life, but I think the joy of Super Mario Brothers 3 is playing each world without warping and getting to explore all the levels, and it gets challenging later in the game. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, that's another 10, 11, 12. Just might be, you know what, it might be a learning curve for this game. As a kid, I could only get to King Hippo. I could never get past the King Hippo until I figured out how to punch below the belt or do stomach punches. I, for probably years and years and years, just would uppercut. And then one day I just was mashing buttons and figured it out. And that's when the game got more fun because I could get past King Hippo. Contra. Ryan Hoey, are you out there somewhere? Because I have your Contra game on a piece of tape. And also, why'd you X it up with permanent marker? And on the front, it says in crayon, N-A-Z-F-T. I don't know what that means. But Contra is, I'm going to give it a 9. And someone colored in the beard with the permanent marker too. Awesome one-player, hard two-player, but if you're with the person who knows the game, it's fun. But if you're playing with someone who doesn't know how to play, like a younger sibling or someone even who plays modern games and you try to introduce them to this, when you're playing two-player, unless you have 30 lives each, it's quite challenging. And they generally will play one and then just want to watch you play it because they're like, whoa, as you crush through levels. Still hard to beat in one try. It's like you have to start playing these games for the week. You know, you sit down, you play a couple levels, you die, you play a couple more. And by the end of the week, you can get through the game. But it's like you got to remember and you got to practice. But it's only 2 buttons, so I don't know how to describe that. Super Contra, a 9. Gradius. I don't know why, as a kid, I loved Gradius. And as an adult, I'm trying to find a copy of Gradius 2. Pretty hard to find on the NES. Does it even exist? Let me know in the comments, because I want a Gradius 2 copy. I think I saw some clones on like a website where they offer like Super Games 50 in 1. These are pretty awesome, actually. I buy them occasionally just to have every game on there. Duck Hunt. Don't play it. Played it as a kid a lot. You can't get rid of it. Like, you got to keep it. Plus, I have the gun. 8 out of 10. Blades of Steel. Hockey. Amazingly fun, actually. I'm going to give it an 8 because hockey's not my favorite, but it's a great one to have in your collection. Spy Hunter, I'm going to give it a 6. Does this game end, or does it keep going like Tiger Healy? Captain Skyhawk, super fun game. Pretty challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it's awesome. I'm going to give it a 7. Tiger Healy, this game was an enigma growing up. I assumed it had an ending, but it doesn't. I think it just keeps looping and looping and looping. And I swear there was times as a kid that I would get there, like be playing for so long and be like, the end has to be near. And it just never was. California Games. For some reason, me and my sisters loved this game and would just play the roller skating and the BMX over and over, even footbag. We could never figure out Frisbee. Okay, I got conned with my daughter at the mall. We bought The Little Mermaid, and it's a wicked fun game, but they got me for 15 bucks. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Another con. I thought it might be nice for my son to do some shapes and numbers with this Sesame Street game. I had it as a kid. I remember it being not very fun. They got me for 8 bucks for this one. And he started playing Super Mario Brothers. He can get through 4 levels. He can get to the castle in the first world. And I introduced him to Sesame Street, and he started playing it. And now when he says, "Can we play video games?" I say, "Yeah, let's go play Sesame Street." And he literally starts to cry. He hates it that much. 1 out of 10. Tetris, 10 out of 10. Am I the only kid who, like, loved Tetris? I mean, I would throw Tetris on and play it. I think games that just progressively get harder and harder and harder are fun. And when you could get to, like, tier 5 on speed 9 and you could just be crushing through lines, fun. RC ProAm. Did anyone else play this as a kid? Because this game's wicked fun. And there's a lot of levels and there's a lot of different, like, boosts you can get, and your car increases and everything as you get further along. And it gets pretty hard, too. 7 out of 10. Something that's not as fun as that is Rad Racer. It's okay. I give it a 6 out of 10. I'm guessing this is an arcade port, so it's probably funner on the arcade, but it was cool that it was on NES. Marble Madness, 5 out of 10. Cool idea. Unique. I thought I liked it more because I remember playing it as a kid. And so that was my little nostalgia video in my attempt to stay, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent. Sorry, I'm super tired. My 3rd child was born 8 days ago. We're lacking on sleep, but consistency. I'm packing all my gear up to do a podcast tomorrow called 20-Year Timeout. So I had everything set up, and I was gonna not make a video, but just to push through a video, stay consistent, have something to upload. I said, let me just talk about my NES collection. Maybe it'll be nostalgic for some people, or it'll be guide into the past of gaming for those who game now and might not have seen what a original Nintendo looks like, or how it works, or how we used to play games. There's no saves. There are save states in Zelda. There's a save state in Adventure of Link. There's a save state. What's wild is it saves based off of a battery that's in this cartridge. How is this battery still working? How is this battery still working? I still can save this. The game pack contains batteries. How are these batteries still working? Oh, do they recharge in the machine? Something to look up. So, Punch-Out's my favorite game. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you dig what I'm talking about, sometimes I talk about old school Nintendo games, but rarely. But they seem to be my most liked videos, so maybe that's something I should focus on. I also have been experimenting in different things. So subscribe, follow the process to see what I land on as far as the niche goes. Maybe I'll just keep this channel a variety creative channel, and if I do decide to do more YouTube, I'll brand a new channel that is catered to that subject. But for now, I'm Rich Marks the Spot. Thanks for tuning in and watching this. Have a great week. Peace.